Girl, stop playing.
Yeah.
Girl, stop playing. Listen, welcome back to another episode of the Girl Stop Playin Podcast. I'm your host, Koereyelle, and this is a specially requested episode, an episode that is just for you. So on today's show, I am answering all of your questions, the questions that you have submitted. Hopefully, you are going to get the answers that you need so that you can prepare yourself to be loved properly. Because here at the Girl Stop Playin Podcast, we are on a mission to encourage you to stop playing with your potential and start working for what you want in life and in love. So let's go ahead and get into this thing. Now listen, these are some juicy questions, but if you got something that might be even a little juicier, you have to make sure you drop your questions in the comments below. No question is too simple or too silly. You never know how much somebody else can learn just by you asking your questions. So let's go ahead and get into this special Ask Co edition of the Girl Stop Playin Podcast. So question number one comes from my girl. I don't know you, but you my girl because you submitted a question. My girl, Mickey from Jacksonville, Florida. So Mickey wants to know something that a lot of y'all probably want to know, which is why I thought this would be a great question to open up the show with. Mickey asks, how did I know that Kendrick was the one? And I think definitely when I was a single woman, this was a question that I always wondered. It was something that anytime I had the opportunity to get up close and personal with a wife, a happy wife, I always tried to like pull her to the side, whisper in her ear, because I really wanted to know, what is it that sets your husband apart? Like, what is it that I should be looking for? So I definitely understand your curiosity, and hopefully my answer is going to be helpful for you. One of the things that I felt frustrated with when I would ask those questions is it seemed like the answer was always, when you know, you just know. And listen, I hate to be the bearer of bad news. I hate to say it, but it's kind of true, y'all. There is some truth to it, because one thing that I believe is that our greatest gift from God is our gut instinct. And he just sometimes sneaks you that little confirmation that you might be onto something. So I believe that when you have truly connected with your life partner, you're going to feel it. You're going to know it. But I don't want to just leave you with that answer. I want to give y'all something that you can really hold on to, and hopefully something that you can use as you are exploring and going through the selection, aka the dating process. So 3 things that were important for me, and 3 things that I think are important across the board for anybody wanting to get into a lifelong partnership. So one of those things that I was looking for that was different about Kendrick was our friendship. I realized literally within our first conversation that there was something different about him, that our chemistry was natural, our conversation was natural. And even though this was the first time that we had really met in real life outside of the first time we exchanged numbers, it felt like I had known him for a while. It was one of those moments where, you know, you've heard people say like, I just feel like we were kindred spirits. Like we might have known each other in a former life or something like that. Like when we first started dating, as crazy as this sounds, we had like bestie, brother, sister energy. Now that sounds real weird, okay? Don't take this the wrong way, but the energy, the friendship that we had, I think it really added to us being able to create a strong foundation, because we weren't embarrassed by anything. We weren't afraid to talk about anything. We trusted each other with our secrets. And so I think the fact that we developed such a natural friendship so quickly was definitely one of the key indicators that I might be on to something or somebody with this one. So friendship was definitely first. The second thing that I noticed was his consistency. Now, for me, consistency is my love language, right? I don't need for you to be perfect. I don't even need for you to be who I want you to be. I just want for you to consistently be who you say you are. So how you show up on day 1, I'm expecting you to be similar by day 21, by day 91. And so one of the things that I recognized off top with Kendrick is that he was consistent in meeting my standards. Because let me put a little bookmark in this one, okay? Sometimes smart men, smart fellas, they know that women love consistency. They know that I'm not the only one whose love language is consistency. And they have learned that if they can just play the part for long enough, they can get what they want. And so you cannot just be out here looking for consistency alone. It has to be consistency in meeting your standards, consistency in loving you properly. And even before you get to the love, consistency in rising to the occasion, not making excuses for why he can't do X, Y, Z, showing up when he says he will, being trustworthy, consistency, being a consistent man, okay? Now, let me just, might hurt your feelings with this one, okay? Don't eat me up in the comments. But do y'all want to know who's consistent? That bugaboo. The dude you keep running from. The good guy, the safe guy, the one that's not so fun. Listen, you can spend your time chasing the bad boys, or you can slow down for long enough to attract and appreciate a good man, okay? So friendship, number one. Consistency, number two. And then one that I think is super important that not enough people talk about is lifestyle. So whatever that means for you, your lifestyle, how you enjoy spending your time, how you want to wake up on a Saturday morning, will this person be in agreement with that? Will he be in alignment with that? For me, travel is a big part of my life. Y'all know I love to hop on a flight. I had never met anyone who had been more places than I had until I met Kendrick. When I went to Amsterdam, like a couple months after we met, he was giving me an itinerary, sending me places that I should go. And that was the first time in my life where a man was more cultured than me, where he could introduce me to some new things. And so that was definitely something that stood out. And aside from him just being different, definitely making sure that you look into the lifestyle and make sure that you know what's important for you so that you can understand if he is in alignment with that. So you'll know when he's the one. I hate to say it, but you'll know. All right. So hopefully that was helpful, Mickey. My girl Shar from Cincinnati, Ohio says, how did you build a friendship, or how do you build a friendship while dating? So for me, as I just mentioned, Kendrick and I's friendship, it was natural, but I'm a natural homegirl, right? I've always been a daddy's girl. I have, older brother. I've always had the homeboys, and I've always been the homegirl. So for me, it was natural. And I honestly, when we first started dating, I told him, like, this might be an issue. I've heard this from some guys before. Like, I'm the homegirl. I know that I am, but I like you. I'm just telling you I like you. If I give you homegirl energy, don't judge me for that. Okay, so it can work. It could be a gift and a curse. But for those of you who don't naturally just find that natural friendship energy with men, I have a piece of advice for you. If you want to nurture and build that natural friendship, you got to go with the flow and you got to have fun. It sounds really, really simple, right? But that's it. Go with the flow and have fun. If you can learn to let your guard down, relax a little bit, those are the things that men look forward to and are interested in when they really want to be able to spend time with their woman without, having to be on all the time. When they really want to be able to relax and enjoy their companion, they can do that if you are going with the flow and having fun. So hopefully that will help you, Shar, in creating a solid foundation for your next relationship, which hands down is friendship. All right, my girl Casey checking in from Mobile, Alabama wants to know, how often did you bring up marriage? What were your boundaries? I thought this was a really, really good question. So how often did I bring up marriage? My answer and my advice might be a little different, okay? So I had a business called the Single Wives Club when Kendrick and I met. There was literally no way for me to explain to him who I was, what I did, what I believed in without me talking about this business that stemmed from an engagement. So we had to have like this whole conversation on date number one because of what I did. I do not necessarily encourage you to bring up marriage on date number one unless he brings it up and you're responding to it, which is what happened in our case. What I will say though, It's not so much, I'm not ever going to give y'all cookie cutter. You got to wait X number of days to do this. You have to say this exact thing on this day to get this result. I don't believe in all that. But what I will say is, even though there's not necessarily a specific day that you should, mention marriage or see if he's interested in commitment, you should not be afraid to ask questions. One of the things that I definitely think leads women down the wrong path and really gets you into wasting your time and spending time with the wrong people is not being willing to ask questions. And a lot of times, ladies, we don't want to ask questions because we don't really want to know the answers. So instead of us facing the facts and getting the truth by asking questions, we want to sweep it under the rug. We want to act like it's not that big a deal. We really try to convince ourselves that we don't need to know the answers because we really don't want to know the truth. So regardless of when you bring up the conversation around marriage, the goal is for you to have open, honest dialogue, for there to be no topic under the sun that you are embarrassed or ashamed to talk about. And if you are a woman over the age of 30, shout out to the soon-to-be aunties out there. If that's you and you know that marriage is your goal, guess what? The first few conversations, I'll say that. I won't say the very first conversation, but you should be having the conversations that will let you know if this person is in alignment with your goal. I want you to think about it like a job interview. Now, not like a job interview like you're going to rattle down a list of questions and qualifications. But if you were hiring for your company, you would not entertain or interview anyone who was not qualified for the position. Anyone who was not interested in going in alignment with the vision of this company. If they don't believe in the mission and the vision, they cannot apply, right? When it comes to your dating, when it comes to the selection process, you do not want to waste time with people who are not in alignment with your mission, are not in alignment with your vision. And so if you know that part of your mission and your vision is marriage, you don't want to waste time trying to figure out or guess whether or not this is something that your potential partner is interested in. So don't be afraid to ask those questions, Casey. I promise you will do yourself a disservice if you wait around trying to give him time and then you end up wasting all your good years with somebody who ain't worth your time. Don't do it. All right, last but not least, my girl Tisha from Newark, New Jersey wants to know, what is one thing I should work on before getting married? Well, Tisha, I don't know you personally, so what I'm going to recommend, and I'm recommending this to everybody, not just Tisha, you got to find a therapist, Tisha, because the therapist is going to help you uncover whatever you've been hiding in your closet, whether it's baggage, bad energy, childhood issues. A therapist will help you get out of your own way, step out of your own head, which is where we like to hang and just continue to go around in circles with our own thoughts until you can step outside of that, until you can get an outside opinion. It's going to be hard for you to figure out what you need to work on, because if you knew, you probably would have already started working on it. So number one, I'm going to recommend therapy. And that's for anyone who wants to be a part of a healthy, happy relationship. In order to do that, you have to make sure you are healthy, happy when you enter that relationship. So number one, you got to go to therapy. The second thing that I want to tell everybody, every woman out here who is in preparation mode to become a wife, not only do you want to visit a therapist, you want to make sure you're bringing something to the table. Now, your something can be different, but you want to make sure you're showing up with something that you're proud of, something you can be confident about, something that is an asset that you are bringing to this partnership. Because whether you realize it or not, who you marry is the most important business decision you will ever make. So, shout out to my girls, Tisha, Casey, Shar, and Mickey for submitting these amazing questions. Hopefully this was helpful for you. If you have some juicy questions that you want me to get into on an upcoming episode, definitely make sure you drop them in the chat below. If you have not subscribed yet, girl, stop playing. If you have not checked out my 12-week boot camp that's going to get you all the way together and get you prepared to be loved properly, girl, stop playing. Check out the description below. All of the links are right down here. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'll see you next week.